Judaism became important to me, and Jewish mysticism and so on and so forth. So I read about these things and I had experiences about them, but then I read that there is a chemical way to verify those experiences of the spirit, and that was very interesting. So some of the people with whom I was hanging out at that time were into the same kind of thing. So there was a Dr. Humphrey, Osmond, and Abe Hoffer in Qu'Appelle, Saskatchewan at that time, and I wrote to them asking whether I could have an experience in their place. Oh, sure. I had read how Aldous Huxley describes the states that mystics were in that he had because he had taken some mescaline, and he called the book The Doors of Perception. And that was a very exciting time. So it looked like we would be now able to explore areas of the mind that before only mystics and shamans were talking about, and we wouldn't have to fast and live in isolation for 40 days or for 3 years' time. It wasn't not kosher. L.S.D. on Pesach would be a problem because it is lysergic acid. It's come from ergot, and ergot grows on rye, and that would be chometz. So if I had to go by the basic Sharia, by the basic Jewish law, there's nothing against that. For instance, tonight is going to be Purim, and so the commandment is to get so drunk that you don't know the difference between blessed be Mordechai and cursed be Haman. Now, can you imagine if I would be able to say, blessed be Osama? Yeah? What kind of state of mind I would have to achieve at that time? Well, that was a very inviting thing, to be able to transcend good and evil and look at the universe from that place. Imagine if I was the only one who had that experience and nobody else had that experience. They used to call it psychotomimetic, mimicking craziness. So if I couldn't tell anyone in the world the place where I was and share and get a sense that this wasn't all crazy stuff in my head. And when I find this in books like R.M. Buck, you know R.M. Buck, Dr. Buck, who wrote about cosmic consciousness, Canadian too. So there you read about all those things, so you have a sense that they exist, these states exist. Now, finding out and experiencing these states was an important thing. So when I'm teaching Kabbalah, Hasidism, I'm teaching about places that are beyond the physical. So that's what you call it, metaphysical. And so you go into a place and you say that there are 4 worlds and there are 10 sephirot, and you can get closer to the divine heart and to the divine mind with that. So these were exciting things. So I didn't consider this to go against the grain of my religion.